Hi, everybody. I'm Annalise Jones with Lucia Learning, and today we are going to talk about summer work. Is summer school or summer work a good idea for your family? Can it be helpful? Can it give your kids something to do? Is it necessary to keep them caught up or to prevent them from falling behind? I'm going to be talking about ADHD, but this applies to most everybody. So take what you can get from this, apply it to your various kids, and let's go ahead and start. All right. Summer is a great time. Of course, we want to be at the pool and the parents want to go do fun activities with the kids, but parents can't do that full time, right? The kids still have a lot of free time. And I think we need to keep them busy. And when they fall behind, it's a good time for them to work on some skills throughout the summer. So why do summer work? I just said to keep them busy, to prevent them from falling behind. We waste 2 or 3 months out of every school year reminding them what they learned the previous year. And as I've gotten into teaching math, it's just kind of astounding how half of 5th grade math is relearning 4th grade math. Half of 6th grade math is reviewing and going over their same concepts over and over. Wouldn't it be beneficial if they were working on them continuously? Math especially, reading especially. Keep reading and keep working on math facts throughout the summer. It only takes a half hour a day, right? It doesn't have to be sitting down and really doing it for hours like you would do maybe normally in the school year. You don't have to call it school. You could call it one of their daily responsibilities, or right? Or just call it something to do when they say they're bored. This is an option. It's something to do, right? It's really good to give them lots of options. If we're not available to take them to the pool or whatever activities we're doing, vacations and whatnot, if the parents are still working, the parents are still being responsible with our lives. We model that and we tell them, you still have responsibilities too, right? And so it will keep them busy and give them something to do without resorting to hours and hours of screen time, right? If you're a parent like me, you're concerned about your kids spending too much time on the screens. I've got 5 kids of my own. One of them in particular is my screen addict, and he definitely needs to do school year round. He needs to have a list of responsibilities that he focuses on for a couple hours every day before he can get on screens. Of course, we would take exceptions if, there's a friend coming over that day. I say in-person friends is more important. Those can get worked in a lot easier. But if we're just bored sitting around the house and they want screens, then they're going to do the 2 hours or so of work before they do that. And my family is just in the habit of that. And they know that's how it goes. And then we don't have to worry about falling behind because it's so frustrating. Like, it's hard enough to keep up as a homeschool mom. It's hard enough to do all the things, all the subjects. Now, can you imagine like having to go back and repeat some of the things you already did, right? Especially like when this is you spending your own time and you're not a paid teacher, you're like, oh my goodness, I already spent my time doing this and now we have to do it again, right? So I would really recommend working through the summer so that you don't have to redo it all. And so you can keep your kids busy and off the screens when you're not going out for activities, friends, pool, right? When they're at home, let's keep them busy and model responsibility and teach them life lessons of being responsible year round. All right, we don't want to fall behind and we want to stay productive. Now, things we want to do in the summer. It's a great opportunity to mix it up. It's not going to look like normal work that we do during the school year, right? This is a great time to try new things. That includes catching up on things that you subscribe to that you may not have gotten to during the school year. So for us, that's an online painting class. That's an online history class that I signed up for and then we didn't do. Okay, we also signed up for another online subscription that we didn't do, right? And if you're like me, you hate paying money for things and then be like, oh, whoops, it hasn't happened yet, right? So summertime is a great time to go back through whatever random things are out there. You don't have to worry about, does it fit into a subject, right? Let's just try new things. Try either things that you have subscribed to and you need to catch up on, or new things you've heard about and you don't want to commit to for the whole school year, but let's go ahead and look into it now that we have some more time over the summer. Try some new methods, right? Do you have a certain way that you teach your family and it may or may not work, right? It may not be super effective. Over the summer, you can experiment and try something new, right? So summer gives us more flexibility without the commitment. And maybe you have some more free time, or if you're a working full-time parent, maybe you don't, right? But we can try with the flexibility we do have, we can try to mix things up and look into some new things. Okay, also, of course, it's a great time to explore new interests, especially outdoor interests, right? So like I just got 4 tennis rackets strung and I'm going to bring my kids out to the tennis courts. It's something my husband and I did in high school. And we kind of did it a little bit when our oldest was little, but it's been years, right? So we really need to go out there and try the tennis courts. But even as you're going out into the world, you're having conversations about school, right? You're going to notice different things about nature, or different, like in tennis, angles come up. So you can talk about the geometry and the angles of where you're aiming your ball. And sports in general, you would be surprised how much math there's in sports okay, you have like calculating when they're going to finish, or talking about the angles of football patterns. There's just so many opportunities to go, but also make it educational, as well as exploring new interests at home, right? Find out some new YouTube channels that you want to try, maybe something that you don't know if your kid is even interested in it, right? And the pressure was too high during the school year to like, I have to make sure all of our time is efficient and I have to make sure that they're getting something out of it. Well, in the summertime, we can just explore. No, low pressure, just explore and try things out. So that can be outdoors or indoors, personal or with the family. It can be super academic or not so much, but it's good just to stay engaged and find other things to do rather than just letting them do the gaming for hours a day, right? Okay, meeting new people, of course. Okay, lots of different summer groups, meeting strangers, of course, talking to them, and you can make this educational too. Find out what they do, what they're interested in, what jobs they do. Go to the playground and talk to people at the playground, right? Or at the pool. You can always make new friends, and it's a great time to get out and do these things in the summertime. Now, how to get them to do it. So back to the actual like academic schoolwork. If they're complaining, if they're saying it's summer, I don't want to do school, I would say that's probably a temporary thing until you establish it as an expectation, until you have a family culture where we do responsibilities every day and then we get our fun privileges, but the privileges come after the responsibilities, right? I'm a really big fan of just having real life talks with them and modeling, saying, so look at me in my life. This is what I'm required to do every day. There's these other things where like no one's actually telling me to do them, but I want to do them because I know it'll make me a better person. I know that I'm investing for something down the road, like if you're working on your own education, or if you're putting time and energy into a business, or even a fitness goal or anything, right? Have these conversations about why you are working on something, why you are making yourself develop habits instead of just doing whatever you feel like, right? So conversations, modeling, and then setting up an expectation of responsibility first and then privileges. And with ADHD specifically, you might need to mix in a lot more motivation, right? So there's a thing called ABA therapy that we use on the autism spectrum, and it's also helpful for ADHD, where they get frequent rewards. So you decide the time period that your child will focus. If they will focus for 15 minutes or a half hour, whatever, just take what you can get. Or ask them to read one chapter in their book, ask them to do 1 page of math, or whatever you're working on. And then they get a reward, right? So let's say they do 1 page of math and then they get 5 minutes of the reward that they want. And then they're expected to come back and focus again. And the reward only comes when they focus and when they've accomplished that, with a lot of good praise, right? So we need to do away with the pressure and the shame and the lectures. We need to be happy and inspiring through modeling our own behavior and then praising them through their accomplishments. And psychologists really encourage us parents to praise their effort rather than the results. So instead of nitpicking and saying your handwriting is still not good enough, or you got these math problems wrong, just have them do a math page. And maybe in summertime, you don't correct them, right? I'm just throwing that out there. Maybe you just say, great job, I'm so proud of you for doing your math page. Because in my opinion, I am a math teacher, and I will tell you my opinion. If they got 90% of them right and you want to keep it a positive experience, I wouldn't even point out the 10% that they got wrong. Because if they're getting 90% right, that shows that they do generally know how to do the skill, and they're probably just making careless mistakes on the other 10%. And it's not worth it to bring their attention to their mistakes. Because the objective is to get them practicing every day and to make sure they generally know the skill and they're holding on to the skill. So I wouldn't get really worried over just careless mistakes, especially with ADHD, because careless mistakes happen a lot. They will learn over time to pay more attention to their work. But if that's going to be the argument that makes them resist and not want to do it, then I wouldn't go there. So just a little thought on that. Okay. Here's who I am. I would like you to look further at my website, lucialearning.com. Okay, my website does not tell you about my summer events, though. You can contact me if you want to know about my summer events. I am doing free classes over the summer, writing and math online. I also have a free writing class in Bluffdale. If you're local in the Salt Lake Valley, talk to me about that. On my website, you will see 2 tabs under programs. There's my online classes, and then there's my tutoring program. My tutoring program is the summer deal, right? I don't usually do a lot of tutoring during the school year because I'm busy with my classes. But in the summer, again, it's a great time to catch up, give them something to do. So if you need a tutor coming to your house every week and holding them accountable with something that they were supposed to be working on during the week, that can be really helpful. It's coming from somebody else, not you as the mom. They won't resist so much when it's somebody else, a friendly, encouraging person who comes to their house to encourage them. So that's online classes. I have freebies, but you need to email me about that because it's not on the website. Or on the website, you can look at the online classes for the school year. I teach writing, literature, math, and psychology. And psychology is kind of an umbrella that incorporates leadership, personal development, as well as regular psychology. I teach psychology to middle school and high school, and that looks a little bit different. The middle school is watered down. It's not as mature, right? So with the high schoolers, we really like to talk about the in-depth theories, psychologists, clinical disorders. And I try to keep it lighter and more fun for the middle schoolers. What we're doing with the psychology class, it's Friday mornings, is having the middle schoolers, everybody actually, so all the teens come together for the fall semester where we do like the introductory stuff, the more lighthearted stuff, PG stuff, right? And then the mature students who want to continue on in the spring will do some heavier topics that include watching PG-13 movies and just talking about more nitty-gritty stuff for the people who really want to get into clinical psychology. Okay, my math includes a finance class. So finance and entrepreneurship is Monday mornings. There is an Evan Moore workbook called Financial Literacy for middle school that we will be working through, as well as having conversations about entrepreneurship. And whether or not you intend on being an entrepreneur, well, you should be familiar with it, but it will also help you understand how business and economics works. So they need to understand price point, promotion, supply and demand, even just to recognize when that's happening to them, right? So they'll go out into the world and recognize this is a promotion. What's the purpose of the promotion? Is it effective? You know, are you responding to what they're trying to get out of you? So lots of great conversations. The finance class and the psychology and the leadership are all really great conversation, as well as literature. Those are my conversation classes where I want to get them thinking and discussing and making friends with each other, contributing their own ideas. So those are really heavy on the conversation, whereas the math and the writing classes, there's so much technique and there's so much, we need to focus on the skills and developing the skills that it's not discussion based. It's just more like we're focusing and working all through the class. And I do want to say, I teach online for a few reasons. You know, obviously it's more convenient for me and my family, but after teaching for a couple years in person and really struggling with classroom management, I think online is so much more focused, where we're on a given topic and we're staying on that topic, because online the students aren't really free to like interject and change the subject or mess around. They can't poke their neighbor, right? So I find that for most people, the focus is better online. They learn more. And yeah, we're just able to focus on the subjects without them messing around. The downside of online for some people with ADHD types of personalities, right? I'm not going to diagnose anyone, but I can notice when some of my students are not paying attention, they're not with me. They're probably pulling up other tabs on their browsers. They're probably messing around, they're doing something else on their own. And I will let the parent know this probably isn't a good fit, or we need to make sure their video's turned on. You need to limit their access to other browsing activities, other whatever they're doing, make sure that they're paying more attention in class. With permission from the parent, I would like to put more attention on them, like ask them a directed question, call them out and get them to engage. So I try to do that, but if it's not a good fit, I will let you know that online is not a good fit for them. So overall, I do prefer teaching online, and I think it organizes things really well. Then in those discussion-based classes, they're able to build friendships and show their personalities. I just love getting to know them and hearing their personalities. And then I give them writing topics where they can also work in their opinions and their life experiences. They can connect it to their worldview, right? And really let that show, stand on their soapbox and, preach about something in their essays. I really love to give them opportunities to do that. So if you would like to talk to me anymore, if you have any questions or want to hear about my classes, or reach out to me if you would like to try the free summer writing and math. They're crash courses. They're just like 3 days each, 1 week. We come repeatedly for a few days, kind of like a summer camp, and really focus and dig in on those subjects. So let me know if there's something I can do for you. And I hope you got something out of this presentation today. Thanks a lot for joining me.